Today, I have a special guest joining me for the Healer Spotlight. Welcome to another video. I'm so excited to have you here today because this video is going to be a little bit different than my typical YouTube content in that I have a special guest who is joining me. And this guest, her name is Tamara, and she is such an incredible, beautiful soul in this world who is sharing her gifts, sharing her light as a healer, and in a way that is not what we might typically think of as a healer. And so she shares such amazing wisdom and beautiful guidance and support for those of you who maybe are feeling called to a path of being a healer, but that what we might traditionally think of as a healer doesn't quite resonate with you. So let's listen in. Hi, I'm so excited to have you here, Tamara.
It's
Welcome.
good to be here.
Yay, this is so incredible. And I just have to first of all say that it's been so amazing. We've known each other for quite a few years now. I feel like I'm like, when did we first like cross paths? It's been
2019.
2019. Oh my gosh. So I was still a little baby Christina back then too. We both were like baby,
Yeah.
babies on our journey. Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. And yeah, it's just been so amazing to get to know you over the years and see your journey over the years and to be able to work together and all the things. And so I want to start off by first of all asking you to share just a little bit in terms of what do you feel has been the biggest either shift or transition or something that you have witnessed within yourself in terms of your path, especially as it relates to the angels and focusing on this journey of connecting to your true self and pursuing your calling. Like, what would you say has been the most transformational?
Ooh, I'll tackle this in two ways. There's definitely an external big shift in that I am much more open about talking about the angels and working that into my life and my conversations and just the way I do things. So externally, just like literacy of knowing, that there are these angelic realms and beings who are here to help us and assist us in so many different ways, and being like comfortable sharing that knowledge or information with people. That's the external. And then internally, it's almost like learning a new language. I have learned to pay attention to signs and signals and, sensations and all these different things in a whole new way that I believe is how the angels communicate with me specifically. And so when I am talking about the angels to other people, I try to emphasize that they shouldn't take like my word for it, because it might not even show up for them in that exact way, but like to use my story or my model as encouragement to find their own specific language and to find their own connection and communication style with the angels.
Oh, I love that so much because I feel like that's one of the key things that needs to be emphasized. It's like it's going to be different for every single person. And I feel like when we can model that and we can emphasize, like share that, emphasize that, and also be an example, like you sharing your personal story or perspective on it, and someone else does, and someone else, and someone else, and then people can see, like, oh, it's actually different between each person, and like it's not supposed to be this one specific way. I feel like that actually opens us up to being able to even receive more or have a greater awareness because now we're no longer putting ourselves into a box and expecting something to show up in that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. So I would love for you to share also because your work is different and unique, and you're not like a traditional healer as people might, think stereotypically. And I talk about this all the time. I'm always like, a healer is not just traditional hands-on healing or like doing this thing. It's so much more than that. And I feel like you're such a beautiful example of how we can apply this work as a healer or just this identity as a healer in such a different way. So can you please share with us how you show up, like what you do on a daily basis, and what, from your perspective, how you show up as a healer in your everyday life and in your work?
So yeah, that I'm glad we opened up with that everyone has their own like communication style and receives things differently, because I put myself in a box for a really long time. I think when we first started working with each other in 2019, I was very much like, okay, it comes to Christina through this. So if I am a true student, then it will show up for me similarly to the way it shows up for Christina. And I wound up really discounting a lot of my gifts and abilities because it wasn't showing up like I was seeing you and a lot of other people that I really looked up to and admired and got a lot out from. So I do kind of three things. I have a day job still, and I support young people. I support college age young people as they are working their way through the university system. And I'm kind of like a leadership coach. I mean, that's not my job title at all, but I do lots of programs and one-on-one consultations and work with student organizations to kind of deepen them and ground them into what leadership looks like and how they can take this wonderful opportunity of being able to come to a big university. I happen to be at a big university, and like take all of that input in and then put it through their own filter. So I really start with a self-leadership, which is that you have your own filter, and it's going to, like, all of the stimulus, all of these courses, all of these people that you'll meet, that will go through you, and then you're here for a reason. And so how do you take all of that input and then distill that into your secret sauce, and whether it's giving back to communities that gave to them, or standing up for someone who's vulnerable, or even like career success, like how do you take all of that and make it into your thing? So that's the day job. And then on the side, I'm a certified strengths coach. So I use assessments that seem kind of corporate, and a lot of times people find these assessments through work, and I take those assessments and I really take people on a very personal journey, even if they are on a work team. I really personalize it and make it very intimate and show them how strengths are these wonderful places where we can invest and get the best out of ourselves, which is purpose work to me. It's like the work that you do about helping people find their purpose. And so I help people use that vocabulary of strengths to really see themselves as assets and people who have contributions to give, which is the same thing I would do with my students. And then the newest wing of what I do, which is scary and amazing and fascinating, is I love crafts, and I love when people make things that they never thought that they could make that are full of meaning. And so I am developing a vision board and vision book or dream book or becoming book. It's lots of different things for lots of different people. But when you make these collages to kind of get you somewhere, to kind of represent who you are on the inside or where you want to go, I have not seen anyone talking about how you communicate with that. People say, look at it every day. Like, no, not just look at it, but like, how can you ask it questions? How can you receive messages? How can you see new and more layers and go deeper than I went to a vision board party and put my New Year's resolutions on it, and now it's on my wall. So I'm developing these reading techniques, and I call it reading because I don't know any other word for it, where I am working with people to either extrapolate and like build more and more different collages and things that they've made to kind of interpret what those messages are for moving forward and who they are, or really thinking about how this art piece, and I know you've done some work around art and the angels, like how this art piece is a gift from the angels and from the divine. And if it's a gift from the divine, then it's never ending. Just like strength's investment is never ending and you can do it over and over and never tap it out or max it out. I think that our visions, the things that are given to us from source, are incredibly deep, and we should go deeper into those. So I help people figure out what those messages are for them.
That is so incredible. I love that so much. And can I just say, when you started talking about the collages, my heart chakra is like, woo, like totally lit up and totally amplified, which you probably heard me say before. When my heart chakra is lighting up like that, it's like the same as chills, getting chills,
Yeah.
or there's just like this on point, like you're onto something. This is incredible. And the thing that I really loved from what you just shared is the depth that you bring to what might be just like kind of like leadership, or, you know, like you said, with the strengths, and like this is the basic things and this is whatever. But instead of going wide, like you're going deep. And I
Yeah.
feel like that is such, oh my gosh, like such a huge and important part of our journeys and development and just overall growth as humans and as beings, and as why we're here, you know, to bring that deeper level, like this depth that you bring to our awareness and to knowing oneself, and to being able to then bring that through into your everyday life. Like you said, it's not just about creating a vision board and then like whatever, like let's put on my wall. It's like, how can I actually work with it, and how can I take that in? And the thing that I really love too is that connection that you made with more of like an embodiment. You know, it's not just on a like a mental level or
Right.
even emotional level. It's a really true embodiment type of experience that you bring to people. And that is truly healing, because I feel like for so many of us, we grow up operating from a mental, like from that logical mental, that mind state. I think so many people would agree in saying that they feel on some level disconnected from their bodies, or disconnected from a level of embodiment. And so you're bridging that gap through the work that you're doing. And that's just incredible. And I also really love, it just feels like on some level, even though I know that it was three separate things, they just feel like they somehow flow together, like are connected. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as you were repeating that back, I was like, oh, these are connected.
Yeah. Yes. They're all connected. And it's another beautiful, incredible example of how, again, it's like going back to the conversation of not boxing ourselves in and allowing ourselves to really break those barriers and see what is there for us. And so that leads me to the next question, which is, you know, and you kind of touched on this previously already when it came to your angelic connection of like trying to, you know, fit yourself into a box. It has to be like this. And then you broke free from that. So what was your journey like to be able to expand into, aside from your job at the university, to expand into these other offerings that you brought through? Did you go through a challenging time where it was like you were still trying to box yourself in, or do you feel like your experience, because you made that breakthrough in terms of your spiritual connection, do you feel like that supported you to be able to pursue these other things, you know what I mean, and kind of allow yourself to be more free and expanded and not boxed in, you know what I mean?
So all three of them have been with me for quite some time. And I think that, so I did the Angelic Healer certification program in like 2020. So we were in the pandemic and everything was just so wild. And I think a lot of us were recalibrating and going inward and using that opportunity when we couldn't necessarily move freely about to like listen to ourselves and listen to our environments more. And I think that started to really open up a lot of possibilities. And then I had gotten certified in 2019, and I really started taking this vision board thing seriously in 2019. And as I was working with people just kind of on that surface level, and also working on my own connections to the divine, like things kept weaving in and out, and I kept seeing people really disappointed in this surface level engagement that we were doing, and really like needing more, asking for more, begging for more. And so when you offered the healer program to the alumni who had already been through it once, I was like, I think I might need, I think I might benefit from going back into that space and just really focusing. And this time I just got a whole new openness. I mean, the healer archetypes was so very helpful, and that wasn't in existence when we first worked together. But also having those experiences of working with those people, it allowed me to see that my frontline healing, yes, that was absolutely, like, you weren't telling me anything new necessarily. You were just giving me a new lens and perspective on it. And so once I sat in that and then allowed myself to surrender to, it doesn't, again, it doesn't have to look like one thing. And, you're not necessarily serving yourself or the people that you're here to uplift and inspire, because frontline healers are all about inspiration. If you force yourself to be more of a, like, I must channel or I must do these other things. And so it was like, you don't have to start over. You don't have to remake yourself. You are good and have contributions to make just as you are. Duh. I say that to people all the time. And so I think those things winding in and out together, as some tough things happened in life, like the pandemic, or my mom got sick and needed me to step in as a caregiver, which opened up a whole new place for our relationship, because she's always been the leader. But now I had all this angelic and divine connection, and so I'm bringing in a new perspective as we tackle this next phase of life. And so, yeah, I think it wasn't one big breakthrough, but it was a lot of little breakthroughs, and a lot of, like, the tide kind of coming in and taking some sand out further and then depositing some other stuff. And I think that's how I would describe my journey.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. And I'm so glad that you brought up the healer archetypes, because, yes, that was a more recent development that came through because of working with people over time and recognizing, like, there's a need to bring this deeper, like a level of depth that came through in that way. And I love it too, because I was just thinking, I was like, wait, I'm pretty sure you're kind of like an even split, right? If I remember correctly, were you
Almost even split.
Yeah, they're
It's
all
like 38 and then 32 or 31 for the other two. But yeah.
okay. Yeah, yeah. And so I feel like that really comes through in hearing about the different areas that you bring through in terms of the work and the different ways that you're working with people, and how you're utilizing all of your healer archetypes in different ways, and how maybe certain projects, one type of archetype is expressed more, and then in other ways a different type of archetype is expressed more, and just bringing through your strengths on that deeper level, in that deeper way. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah, I
amazing.
do.
So cool. So cool to witness that in action, and I feel like this is the thing too, is that people need examples, and people need to see, like, oh, okay, there are all of these different ways, so many ways in which your gifts as a healer and who you are as a healer, your truth, your message, your expression is meant to come through. There's no one size fits all, even within the frontline healer archetype.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, and that replicates what I teach and bring through with the strengths work. And that's certainly, if I'm starting with your personal art, I'm certainly bringing that into, interpreting the vision. Like, I can look at it and read it and interpret certain things and be like, oh, this leaf here means that, but that's not necessarily how it came through for you. So I do feel like there's this theme of coming back to trusting yourself
Yes.
and trusting your connection and letting who you are be a blend, and not like these, like boxes have hard edges and like sharp corners, and instead being more like a vessel or a container, so that you can hold a little bit of all of it, and really communicate through who you are, because the divine wanted you to be the mixture of beings and things and energies that you are.
Oh my gosh, so beautiful. Like you're gonna make me cry right now with this message that's coming through. It's so good and so needed. And I was actually going to, my next thing that I wanted to ask you is, is there anything, you already shared so many beautiful nuggets of wisdom, but is there anything that you would say to someone who maybe is on this edge of like, I feel like there's something more, I'm being called to something more, but whether it's fear, whether it's logical mind, ego thoughts that are holding them back, or anything else, someone who's on that, in that space of wanting to pursue their deeper calling or wanting to explore this other side of them, and also like you just, kind of piggybacking off of what you just said of they've known themselves in this lane for so long. How do I begin to blend it all together and open myself up to whatever that mixture is actually meant to be?
I would say trust that inkling and hold on to that inkling, and give yourself a break. Don't be so hard on yourself. Like divine very rarely comes down and hands out this map that's like, you're going to go 14 miles this way and then you're going to take a left. Like that's not how it that's not how it happened for me. I don't think that's how it happened for you. Like I said yes to one thing and having no idea what the outcome is. And I know that a lot of times we read these sales pages and these people who say they support in different areas and ways, and they're like, this is the transformation and this is the result and this is the guarantee. If you're really trying to have a deeper connection or a stronger connection to the divine, my advice would be to just trust that that by itself, that willingness will take you where you need to go, and that more will be given to you and revealed to you as you take each baby step. I don't know where I'll be in at the end of this year, much less, another 6 years from now. So I'm like, today I'm into vision boards and strengths and leadership. Like I don't know what that looks like in 4 years. I've got some ideas, I've got some desires, but also when I help people and when they actually come to me and say this really helped me, it lets my ego let go of all of that needing to know the end result, or the like purpose, like it would come on a card or on a plaque. It really allows me to be like, my purpose was to show up in who I am today and help the people that I'm here to help today with what I have today. And that's been more of my purpose statement for like the last 18 months. Rather than being like, my purpose is to, save the whales, or, and if you have that kind of purpose, great. I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying that when people feel that inkling, it's usually the resistance is, but I don't know everything.
Right. Yes. And I really love how you just right there and what you shared, you totally just gave people their power back. You just empowered people just through that statement, because I immediately felt, like what you were saying, that willingness is all that you need. And because oftentimes it's true, we think like, okay, aside from my willingness, like I need something, I need information, I need to go external, I need to the answer somewhere out here, where really that like exactly like you said, that willingness is enough. All you need is the willingness to have that deeper connection, to pursue that calling or whatever, and then the next steps will be revealed as long as you're open. And so I love that. I love it so much. Last question that I have for you, because through the work that you do, it's so unique and it's so different, and it's such a beautiful example of how we can take this this idea of being a healer and apply it in such a unique way, what would you say was your biggest takeaway from the healer program, whether it was, the first iteration as the angelic healing certification or the second iteration as the healer program? What would you say was your biggest takeaway that has supported you to be able to step into more fully in the work that you do now with people, whatever context that you do it?
Gifts and abilities are different, and abilities can be developed and practiced and invested in. And so, I know a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm interested in connecting with the divine, I'm going to become a Reiki practitioner, or I'm interested in the divine, I'm going to learn how to read oracle and tarot. And that may 100% be your route. But what I have learned is that those are abilities.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that those are kind of like tools in the toolbox. So those are like hammers and nails and screwdrivers and that kind of thing. And your gifts, it's so easy in this world to overlook our gifts, or to poo-poo our gifts, or to devalue our gifts, because the outer world that is not in this mindset, like, they are not concerned with uplifting or elevating or inspiring or bringing peace or simplifying. It's about go, 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 do, do, do. Gifts are about being and who you be. And everything that I've been able to do that's shown up as these leaps and bounds has come from me starting with being, and then doing, and then having.
I love
And
that.
not having or doing and then, okay, one day I'll be this complete version. Like, I'm excited to get to know the different iterations of myself as I unfold on this journey. And before, I think I was very much, I was like a type A, I went to graduate school to get a PhD, so I was definitely about,
Yeah.
this is the end goal, and be like this and get an A and all of that stuff. And I drove people pretty hard in that version of myself. And this is a much more receptive, divine feminine, nurturing, spaciousness bringing iteration, and I like her a lot better.
I love that. And yeah, it's so interesting because as you said that, I was like, oh yeah, I felt that, just as you've shared that. And, obviously having worked together and known you for these years, it's like, yeah, I can, now that I think back to past version, I'm like, oh yeah, like that is so true, that those qualities of the divine feminine and just that spaciousness and more, it feels more like fluid versus rigid, really comes through. And it's so beautiful to witness. And it's so healing to just even be in that presence. You know what I mean? And I think that's the biggest thing too, is just your presence. It's like when, I'm sure when a student walks in to talk to you, or when you're working with someone one-on-one, or whatever the case is, just being in your presence, it's already like, oh, okay, like there's a level there's a shift that's happening. There's a level of healing that's already happening. And I think that's huge to remember for everyone out there who is on the path of stepping into their calling as a healer, or already working as a healer. Is it's really, like you said, it's who you be. It's your presence in this moment. That is healing. That's what it is. Like, so thank you so much for sharing all of the things. This is so beautiful to talk with you and for you to share more about your journey and who you are, and to bring this fresh perspective and a beautiful example to people who are on this path. I would love for you to share with us where people can connect with you and learn more about you, and dive into the work that you're bringing forward, whether it is the strengths thing or maybe it is the vision board, and being able to be supported in that way.
Sure, I'm really excited. I've been slowly building community over on my YouTube channel. It's called Tamara's Thoughts and Shares. So, like, people always go, thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers. And I was like, Well, I share my thoughts. So, Tamara's Thoughts and Shares is my YouTube channel. And if you want to get in touch with me via email, it's tamvanhorn@gmail.com. Just send me a note. Like, I'm very early in building the kind of divine masculine container around these gifts, and I'm moving very slowly because I don't want to go too far into the divine masculine or the not divine masculine when I do it. And I'm really like building by doing these almost daily 3-minute shorts. And I used to do poetry slam, which is competitive performance poetry, and those poems were a 3-minute container. So it feels really familiar to me, and I've been having a lot of fun just like channeling or sharing resources or thoughts or tips 3 minutes at a time. So you can kind of take a look and see if I'm your flavor. And yeah, get in touch with me, leave a comment in one of the videos or email me, and we'll figure out how to play together.
That is amazing. I love that so, so much. And I will leave the link for all of that. I'll put the information below this video so everyone can go check it out below. And I just have to say, I'm so glad that YouTube Shorts expanded to 3 minutes because that makes life so much easier now, 3 minutes instead of 60 seconds. So
Yes.
that's amazing.
And then, as you know, I made this weekend.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
I was listening to one of the courses, the replays from the Healer program, and you were like, make a piece of art and just let it flow. And so all of this green really came to me. And so,
Yeah.
but also these feel like divine feminine colors. I'm feeling Celeste and Angel Alexandra, and I just played. I just brought out stickers and I just played and created. And you can do that too. Like, you don't necessarily need support. You can just play and get in touch with the angels and let them guide you and just see what you create. And it doesn't have to be for anybody else. That wasn't for anybody. I didn't know I was going to be talking to you when I made that. This was just me at my little desk on a Saturday afternoon playing around. And so I just wanted to show people that, and I read this. I've been working with this and kind of asking it, what do I need to know today? You know, like, or making requests, like, bring me. The other day, I really needed a hug. And I was like, bring me a hug. And my students just showed up, and we're not always super huggy with each other. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Wow. So
just play
good.
around.
Yes, yes. I love that invitation so, so much because it really is about, it's not about anyone or for anyone but you. And just play around, just let it be whatever, and see what comes through and be open. That's incredible. I love that so much. Thank you for extending out that invitation, for sharing that example, and, you know, to be such a beautiful example of this work and showing up as your true self and in your calling. So, and allowing yourself to develop through the journey. And I really love what you shared earlier about how you're excited to just meet every new iteration of you. And that's what the journey is all about, you know? So,
And thank you for creating so much spaciousness for a very formerly rigid person like me to feel comfortable, like moving at that kind of slower pace and letting me have my journey. I think you are amazing at that, and I've just seen you grow and expand and all the things, and it's kind of, I'm like, we've known each other through all. So again, it's not just me meeting me in all these iterations as they unfold, but I get to continue to meet you over and over and over again, and that's awesome.
thank you. I love that so much. And yeah, it's such a beautiful thing to really be a part of that journey and to meet people, to have these paths that cross on this journey, and to know that, you know, we have our own journey, but if it literally feels like we're walking together, like we're side by side and we're walking together, and you're like, hey, how's it going over there? Yeah, good. How are you doing? Like, you know, and it's just amazing. And I really am so grateful for this work that has opened that up to being able to meet people like you and people who really are in that same wavelength, we'll say, you know. So thank you again. All of the information to reach out to Tamara and to check out her YouTube is in the description below this video. And we'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Let us know how this information landed for you, your biggest takeaways, and any questions that you might have for Tamara. If you want to, you know, interact in the comments, then feel free to share that below as well. And otherwise, as always, sending you so much love and angel blessings, and we'll see you soon. Bye. Oh my gosh, that was such an amazing conversation. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did. And for those of you who are on this path of stepping into your purpose as a healer, stepping into your divine calling, I invite you to join me inside of the Healer program. This is my Angelic Healing Certification program, and it is truly one of the most incredible experiences that I have had the pleasure of developing over the years. There have been several iterations over the years since I started it back in 2019, or maybe it was 18. I don't even remember anymore. It's been a long time. And so I'm really excited to invite you to come on in, check out the Healer program. Depending on when you're watching this, maybe doors are open, maybe they're closed. Either way, you can go check out the details. If the doors are closed right now, sign up for the wait list. But if you're watching this soon after I've published this video, most likely doors are open. So go check out all the details. Everything is on that page, people's experiences, what you're going to learn, and helping you to see whether or not this program is the right next step for you. But what I can say for sure is that after having mentored so many students through this program, the number one takeaway is that this program helps you to step into who you are meant to be as a healer. It breaks down any barriers, any preconceived notions that you may have had in terms of what you're supposed to do as a healer or who you are meant to be as a healer. And it gives you the freedom, the expansion, the empowerment to really pursue what your soul is calling you to do. So I can't wait for you to check it out. As always, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. You can use the contact form on my website. And that is it for today. Thank you again for joining in and watching. And as always, I'm sending you so much love and angel blessings. Bye.